Hello, everybody. It's another live lesson with BBR Productions, a YouTube channel. Time. It's one of the few resources that we have that we cannot get more of. It's one of those things where we say to ourselves, man, there's just not enough time in the day, or I wish I had more time, or maybe that regretful, if I could only go back in time and blank, blank, blank. You have control over time to come and the time that you are spending. And today, we're going to show you some techniques, 5 in fact, of how you can audit your time to take back control. Because remember, longevity is about managing what? Your time, money, and the people around you. Time is first because it is the most important and vital asset of any resource that you will have in those three. So let's get right to it. As always, I'm Thomas J. Beleza. Please like, comment, and share this video along with subscribing for future content on how to be successful in your industry, specifically the entertainment industry. Let's get right to it. Okay. More importantly than not, audit your time. The value of control comes from you making choices. You have to make choices, but to make choices, you must find data. You must allocate some information. You got to put stuff together. You got to do a little thinking. Okay. So where are you spending your time? It's okay to sit down for a moment and say, where am I spending my time? And that could be anything from how many hours a day are you working at your survival job? Or how many hours a day are you working on your career? How many hours a day are you working on your craft or your skills? You should be able to organize your time into a sense of where, what is it you're doing and what are you doing in that time block? More importantly, what values are you putting into that? So for example, if you go, wait a minute, I spend 2 hours on social media. What are you doing on social media? It's okay to be on social media, but if you're going to be there for 2 hours, are you networking? So if that's important to know, I am networking on social media is different than I am marketing on social media is different than I am I don't know, organizing or cleaning up my social media. Whatever the case may be, you should at least acknowledge what you do in your time. So just take a nice inventory of how you are spending your time and just write it down on a list. This is what Sunday through Saturday looks like, or Monday through Friday, whatever is more comfortable for you. More important, the most important aspect of this is to take inventory. Look at what you are doing and what days and how you are organizing your time and those tasks. You might even have to put a little thought into it because you may not realize what you are doing. You might say, oh, wow, I'm watching TV for 3 hours at night. Or I'm, let's see, in the morning, I just sit there and do nothing. Or, how about when are you eating? How long are you eating for? What are you eating? It's good to know what's going on in those blocks because knowing what you are doing gives you enough information to start doing what? Audit your time. Write down your intentions. The other thing that you should be doing is ultimately understanding where and when and why you are doing what you're doing and where you'd like to be. What are things you would like to start? Now, notice I didn't say get done. Time management is always about starting and doing with consistency and not necessarily about getting things done. Things will get done as you consistently do them. However, if your to-do list is done, then what are you doing? Right? You should always have stuff to do. In fact, let's just assume I'm an actor and I'm working on an audition. I don't have to get that audition done. I have to work on the audition because there should be more auditions. But obviously, there might be a time where, well, I finish this audition, there's not another audition lined up. But the idea is, well, maybe I should have a time block that is dedicated to me working on auditions, not necessarily because you have them, but working on being in front of the camera, working on breaking down scripts. Why work on the skill or tool and getting comfortable in front of the camera or learning what you need to do to get an audition done, right? Especially when it's a self-tape. If the only time you work on it is when you have an audition, well, if you're going to do the auditions, you might as well set aside some time. I'm not telling you to do that, but this is how you use your entrepreneurial brain to find the most out of your time and say, hey, I should be comfortable. I should learn how to set up my equipment, I should learn how to be comfortable in front of my equipment. I should learn how the lighting works. Do I have a teleprompter? Do I have a reader? You know, how much time do I spend on breaking down a script? And maybe I should learn how to break down a script better so I can do it quicker and I could utilize my time better, et cetera, et cetera. So write down your intentions. Just figure out, how do you ideally like to spend your time? If you had 8 hours to do anything, what would you do in that 8 hours and how would you break it up? It's okay if this does not match this, because this will start telling you something. Once you look at what you are doing versus what you would like to be doing, now you can start taking action, okay? Which takes us to track time to tasks. This is all about saying, all right, this is what I would ideally like. This is what I have been doing. And there are some things in the have been doing that are I have to do's. For example, if you have a survival job, you have to do that. Okay. But outside of that, you should be organizing yourself into time blocks. Now, remember, people come first. So if you have stuff scheduled out in what I call office hours, which is basically you're working on your career, okay, you're working on developing your business and stuff like that, which, by the way, if you're an actor, writer, musician, anything in the arts, you are a business. So you should be working on the business side of the industry, right? Uh, so you should really track that and say, all right, this is what I need to do. Other things that you should be doing is saying, well, since I don't have it tracked out, let me try to really buckle down and figure out what it is that I am doing and how do I utilize my time within that. And this is where it starts going, wait a minute, what is it I have to get done for this particular task? And if I'm going to do this particular block every day or every other day for 30 minutes each day, what is it I have to do within that time? Because remember, it's not about getting done, it's about doing, right? So, or consistently working on. Um, so, for example, we talk about social media posts all the time. Like your Monday 30 minutes might be brainstorming. Your Tuesday 30 minutes might be taking what you had brainstorm and doing what's known as you're growing it. You're adding some brand in it, maybe expanding on it. Right. And maybe Wednesday is now you're going to write it out. Right. So you're going to take what you have expanded on, and Wednesday you're going to write it out. You write out some stuff. On Thursday, you're going to find an image for it. Right. On Friday, you might edit it, just give it one more look over and edit it. And then Saturday, I will schedule all the posts onto Buffer or whatever scheduling program you have. And now you're not saying on Monday, my time I have to track my task. On Mondays I gotta brainstorm, work out some details to add my brand, write it out, find an image, and then schedule it. You're not doing that on Monday. You're not saying, well, this is the social media post day. I have to get all that done. No, you have to break it up so you create cues. Same thing with networking. When you're cultivating relationships, you should be building cues. One day should be 30 minutes that are dedicated to who are these people, right? Who do I know? The second day is, all right, what's the best contact for them? The third day is, let me do some research to see what they're doing. The fourth day is writing up an email, text, or figuring out, or contacting them and scheduling an in-person or a phone call, right? And then the fourth day might be like, how do I interact with their social media and elevate and support what they are doing? All right, then you know what I'm saying? Like your blocks of time aren't a necessity to get things done. It's a way of saying, how do I track time to tasks? How do I break down the entire task into subparts so I can get the most out of my efforts? Okay. 4, realign your time. It's okay to set new daily targets. All right. So let's get some hydration here. There is a value in realigning your time. Sometimes, let's say after a month or 2 months or 3 months, your schedule that you created is not really working for you. You don't feel like you're getting the most out of it. It's all right to relook at what you are doing and say, let me try something different. All right. Don't change it every single day in the sense of like, well, this didn't work. Like you have to give something a little bit time to see if it is working. However, with that said, you can have new daily targets, and that's the track time to tasks. So, for example, if something comes up like you have to work on an audition, right? Because and you need it in 3 or 4 days, right? You organize this, right, and reallocate your schedule and say, all right, let me do 30 to 60 minutes a day The first day will be me memorizing. The second day of me working on adding my voice and character. And the third day will be me filming it, right? Especially if you have that time. If you don't have that kind of time, if it's due within 12 hours, well, you set up your day. You go, let me take an hour and work on memorizing. All right, let me take a break and work on something else so my brain can absorb it. All right, let me go back to it for an hour after I do one or two tasks, right? And then I go back and now I'm gonna add some character because now it's kind of coming out of me now, right? And then you go, all right, let me take a break, let me eat something, or let me do another task. Now let me go to record it. And then you're like, all right, after you record it, let me take a break mentally, and now I'm going to edit it and get it to my manager or agent. Okay. All right. Cinque. Adjust your schedule based on your goals, which is ultimately what we were just talking about. But daily goal targets are different than, let's say, your goals. You might come to a point where you say, all right, I've been working on X, Y, and Z for X amount of time, but now I have a new goal. Let's say your goal is to film a movie, or your goal is to do an album, or your goal is to write 5 minutes of routine for comedy. It is okay to adjust your schedule based on your goals. It's okay to start changing up your schedule. Because remember, you're in control. It's time management. You are auditing your time. You have to audit your time by knowing what you are doing, knowing what you want to do, knowing how you are going to do it or are doing it, realign the time and adjust to work with your strengths and weaknesses, and then allow things that come into your life to adjust the schedule as well, knowing your schedule is not written in stone. It's allowed to be malleable. You're allowed to adjust it as needed. All right. So there you go. It was a quick lesson today. 12 minutes, 30 seconds. I like it. I like it. I like it. Listen, we want you to like, comment, and share this video along with subscribing for future content on how to be successful in your field of interest, which for this channel is specifically for the entertainment industry. However, you can utilize everything we talk about in any field. More importantly, the reason we like to share this information, these videos, is because I do these videos for free so people can learn and break the misconceptions of what some of our industry has laid upon us. And by sharing it, we elevate others. So we want to elevate ourselves and others so we can work, grow, and rise together. We unite. All right. We want to say, hey, let's get the people knowing what we know, because you want to be around like-minded individuals. You want to be around people that inspire you. Because remember, your circle of interest is not about people. Your circle of influence is not about people who can influence your career. It's about people who influence good habits and elevate and inspire you in ways that you did not think before, because you knew what you knew, and that is it, right? We only learn from others that are doing. So there you go. Remember to be good to one another, and as always, peace and harmony.